Hey guys, it's me Shadow. Let's continue on with Stuff for the Stars.
I made it. This view. It is amazing. And that's gotta be Mount Hermes over there. Seeing it like this, it makes me feel like I'm not just wandering aimlessly anymore. Now, I am making some progress. Even though everything has gone completely wrong, we were always going to end up there as part of our mission. It was never supposed to be like this.
What is with this weird? Whatever. Let's just go with it. It's not gonna. Hang on. Let me just. So, how you feeling? Everything okay?
Physically, I'm pretty exhausted. Climbing this hill took more out of me than I expected. But mentally, I think I'm holding on. Seeing Mount Hermes, it gives me a sense of direction again. It's funny, being out here makes me think about what you've been through in your life. What's something that's taught you the most about yourself, Shadow?
Hmm. I really wish I could answer that, but I really can't. Nothing's really coming to mind.
That's okay. Sometimes the things that have the biggest impact on us can be hard to put into words, or maybe they're just not something we've had time to really think about yet. If you don't mind me asking, what kind of things do you usually enjoy doing when you're not? Well, talking to stranded astronauts? Any outdoor activities or sports you're into?
Not really, no.
No worries. Not everyone's the outdoorsy type, and that's totally fine. There's plenty of amazing things to enjoy in life beyond hiking or sports. So, what about you in general? What's your life like back on Earth? Anything you're passionate about, even if it's not necessarily an adventure?
Hey, what beats an adventure, really?
Fair point. Though I have to say, right now, I'd trade a good adventure for a comfy bed and a real shower. But even without all that, there's something special about just being in a completely new place, you know? Like, nothing here feels touched or worn down. It's wild.
Want a shower? Wait, does that mean you smell really bad right now?
Ha! Well, I wouldn't say really bad just yet, but after all that climbing and hiking, I'm definitely not feeling like I just stepped out of a spa. Let's just say I'm working on that fresh from the wilderness look. But honestly, a shower would be amazing right about now. Do you have a favorite way to unwind after a long day, Shadow?
I like baths. I know a lot of people don't give it a lot of slack, but I like baths.
Oh, bass music? That's cool. I'm more of a pop and indie kind of person myself, but hey, whatever gets you moving, right? So, are you a blasted in the car kind of bass fan, or more of a headphones and vibe out person?
No, I said bath. Bath. Bath, not bass.
Oh, that was a good one. I feel like I just got dunked on. You absolutely got me there, Shadow. So, baths, huh? Do you have a favorite way to make them extra relaxing? Like candles, music, or just complete silence?
No, just a normal bath. Uh, I don't like doing all that fancy stuff. It makes it a pain to put away later.
Totally get it. Simplicity can be underrated sometimes. There's something nice about just enjoying the moment without all the extra fuss. You know, looking at this landscape, it makes me wonder. If you could choose between the peace and quiet of a place like Gaia, or the hustle and bustle of a big city on Earth, which would you prefer?
Wait. Hmm. I don't know. If I'm being honestly, I mean they both have merits. So hmm. But they both have what if factors that could be quite unappealing. So it's for me. I think it'll be really hard to choose.
That's a really thoughtful answer. Both have their own kind of beauty and their own kind of stress, don't they? The city's got that constant energy, but it can also feel overwhelming. And a place like Gaia, it's peaceful, but it's also incredibly isolating. I think what I'm realizing out here is that maybe the best answer isn't just one or the other, but finding a balance between the two. A little bit of adventure, a little bit of comfort. What do you think? Do you think that's even possible?
Hmm. Well, yeah, I think it's totally possible. I think I think the matter of the situation, if you're willing to compromise a little on both sides, I think it's totally possible to create a type of balance that makes both acceptable.
Yeah, compromise is key. It's easy to idealize one extreme or the other, but real life usually needs a little give and take. I wonder what that balance would look like for me once I'm back on Earth. This experience is definitely giving me a new perspective on what I value in a place to call home.
If I had to give an example, I'd say something similar to glamping.
Glamping? That's a great example. You get to enjoy nature, but still have some comforts to come back to. It's like having your cake and eating it too. Though I have to say, right now, I'd probably settle for anything that isn't a life pod or a hillside. What about you? Have you ever actually gone glamping? Or is it more of a sounds nice in theory thing for you?
Nah, I can't really do the whole glamping thing. It's like the expenses alone would be too large, if I'm being honest.
Totally understand. It can get pretty pricey. Sometimes just camping or even a quick picnic can give you that same feeling without breaking the bank. Though, I guess when you're literally on another planet, glamping takes on a whole different meaning. Right now, I'd consider a warm meal and a real bed glamping.
Hey, Stella, I got a question for you. Now, if you can choose one song, right, that will represent your life. Now, keep in mind, this is your life, so this song is going to be playing on loop for as long as you live, and you will hear this song continuously. You can't turn it off. What song would you choose?
That's a really cool question, Shadow. If I had to pick just one song to represent my life and hear it on loop, I think I'd choose We Are the Champions by Queen. It's just this classic motivational, we're going to make it through kind of vibe. It reminds me of all the times I pushed myself to apply for this program, to study hard, and to believe I could actually be an astronaut. Even out here, facing all these challenges, that song would be a good reminder to keep going, you know? What about you? If you had to pick a song to play on loop for your whole life, what would it be?
We Are the Champions. Are you sure you want that song? Like, can you imagine? Because remember, this your associates, your friends are going to hear this song too, right? I forgot to mention that. So, can you imagine being on the toilet, you know, pooping, and all of a sudden you hear, "We are the champions." I don't know what you that. For me, I think that would be pretty awkward.
Oh, wow! You're really painting a vivid picture there, Shadow. I hadn't thought about the more private moments, but you're right. That could be pretty awkward for everyone involved. Maybe I should rethink my choice. Something a little less triumphant for everyday life. What about you? Would you pick a different song knowing it'd be playing nonstop even in those moments?
No, I don't know. I don't know. I'm having a hard time deciding because like some songs are good in certain situations, but certain songs like yours can get really awkward really fast.
Fair point. I guess we'd both have to choose wisely. Though it's kind of fun imagining all the different reactions people might have to the same song in different situations. Maybe the key is picking something that's more of a gentle hum in the background rather than a big anthem. Something that just kind of exists with you, you know?
我叫陈凡，23岁，普通上班族。自从大学毕业。
Why is it not responding? Not reply. Hang on. I think I have to. Hey guys, I think I have to.
I made it. This view. It is amazing. And that's gotta be Mount Hermes over there. Seeing it like this, it makes me feel like I'm not just wandering aimlessly anymore. Now, I am making some progress. Even though everything has gone completely wrong, we were always going to end up there as part of our mission. It was never supposed to be like this.
No, guys, I had to start over. I don't know what it was, but like it wouldn't respond, so I had to restart. Usually they let you start off from where you left off. I don't know what happened. Oh, well, we'll start over, I guess. How are you? So how are you feeling, Stella? Everything okay? You must have blitzed on your feet by now for all that long walk.
Honestly, I'm pretty wiped out. My boots are definitely not designed for this kind of terrain, so my feet are screaming. The walk's been brutal, but seeing this view from up here, it's like a little reward. Makes all the hiking worth it, you know? Even if my legs might disagree with that assessment right now.
Yeah. I mean, I've been, relaxing in my chair this entire time. My butt's starting to hurt too. I feel your pain, girl. I feel your pain.
Solidarity, Shadow. Though I'm pretty sure my hiking boots have it worse than your chair. It's kind of funny, isn't it? Two of us on opposite sides of the universe, both complaining about our seats, or lack thereof.
Hey, so I want your opinion on something. I was watching a Chinese drama, right? Where the main character's ex-girlfriend turned out to be the queen of all zombies. So I was quite curious if you were in, like, say we replaced the queen of zombies with a king and replaced the male protagonist with you. What would you do?
Oh man, that's a wild scenario. I think I'd try to keep things peaceful. No drama, no zombie wars. Maybe we could all just have a calm cup of tea together. Though I have to ask, what made you think of that? Are you secretly hoping I'd pick a fight with a zombie queen? Or are you just curious about my diplomacy skills?
Yeah, I was really curious what you'd do. Um, Now keep in mind, this is all happening in a zombie apocalypse, so chances are, uh, you know, debating or trying to peace talks is probably not going to work. So it's gonna come down to my opinion, but some type of strategy that you're gonna.
That's a good point. In a real apocalypse, you can't always count on words being enough. If I had to choose, I'd probably focus on protecting the people around me, making sure we're safe first. Then maybe look for ways to outsmart the zombies, rather than going straight for a fight. What about you? Would you be more of a charge and type, or a wait and observe kind of person?
What I would probably do is I would probably try and kind of negotiate with the Zombie King because he has the power to control other zombies, right? So I would probably try to find ways to increase the Zombie King's influence so that he can control more zombies. So as long as you have control of the Zombie King or Queen, right? Whatever, you're okay.
That's an interesting strategy, Shadow. I'm not sure if I'd trust a zombie king to keep their word, but I guess if it meant not having to fight every single day, it might be worth considering. It makes me wonder about you, though. What kind of experiences have you had that make you think about negotiating with someone, even if they're not exactly human? Has something in your past taught you to approach problems like that?
No, you can't really say they're not human. They were at one time human, right? So, negotiating with them, right? It keep yourself alive, or the ones you want alive, I think is possible. Highly unlikely, but possible.
That's a good point. Even if they're not fully themselves anymore, maybe there's still something left that could be reached.
器型规
It's strange, isn't it? How we think about people, even when they're changed beyond recognition. What about in real life, Shadow? Do you find yourself trying to understand people, even when they're difficult or hard to get along with?
规整，釉色纯正，确实是主要精品。何老板，开个价吧。唉。
Estella, how's your resources? Are they okay? You got enough pace to get you through?
My suit's power is holding up, thankfully. The solar cells are doing their job, even if it's not perfect with the planet's electromagnetic interference. I've been careful with the battery, trying not to waste it on unnecessary video calls. Though I have to admit, talking to you is worth dipping into my reserves sometimes. As for food and water, I've got enough for a while, but I need to be smart about rationing. The base should have supplies, which is part of why I'm pushing to get there. What about you, Shadow? Do you have any favorite outdoor activities or sports that help you stay prepared? Or is your survival training more of the armchair strategist variety?
Hey, so I've been curious about something. How do you handle bathroom breaks? I mean, I know your vitals and stuff and everything monitored, and you got a filter, but I don't see anything that can like store waste. I mean, I technically can only see the front end, so maybe it's at the back end. I don't know, but
That's actually a pretty practical question, Shadow. The suit has a built-in waste management system. It's not exactly glamorous, but it's designed to handle everything discreetly and hygienically. It's definitely not something you'd notice from the front, and I'm glad it's working as intended. Not exactly something I thought I'd be discussing over interstellar comms, but here we are.
So define what. So does it just contain it, or does it contain it and maybe know the noise, the smell? Like, what does it do? I'm quite curious. I'm quite curious about this level of technology. I am quite curious, right? Does it like clean your butt or something too? What does that technology entail? What does it actually do? I'm quite curious now.
I'll spare you the details, but let's just say it's a closed-loop system. It's not exactly like a bidet, but it does handle everything efficiently and discreetly. The smell is definitely minimized, another perk of advanced space tech. Though, if I'm being completely honest, I'm pretty sure the designers didn't exactly envision these kinds of conversations when they were engineering it.
I don't know. They could. I mean, you don't know what really went on in that boardroom. You know, they could be eating snacks, chilling. You never know, really. It's highly unlikely, but I don't think it's impossible.
You're right. Maybe they had a whole bathroom break simulation department just brainstorming awkward conversations like this one. It's funny how even with all this tech, some things are just universal, like wondering how the other person's day is going,
What's up?
or
What's
in
up?
this case, how their
What's
soup
up there,
handles
bro?
the
What's good,
week.
bro? No, what's good, bro? You sweet.
Hey, so did you follow any like YouTubers or streamers when you were on Earth?
Yeah, I used to watch a bunch of science channels. Some were hilarious, others were actually really educational. I even stumbled upon this AI VTuber, Neurosama, who was ridiculously good at Osu. Gameplay streams. It was entertaining and kind of mind-blowing at the same time. How about you? Any favorite YouTubers or streamers you keep up with?
Not really. I did watch Sykkuno for a while, but after the drama he's gone through, I don't really watch him anymore.
Drama's enough to turn anyone off, isn't it? Sometimes it feels like the personalities behind the streams can be just as complicated as the people in our real lives. It's interesting how we choose who we want to spend our time watching or listening to, in our case. What do you usually look for in the
hey
people
there,
you
handsome.
follow or
Here we
listen
go again.
to?
Yeah, you looking
Is
like
it
a
their sense
long-term
of humor,
relationship in
their
that quarter
stories,
zip.
It's
or
just
something
comfortable,
else
okay?
entirely?
I bet you'd look even better in a suit, Navy three-piece.
Would you please stop dressing me with your eyes? Ugh.
You look like you'd make a great father.
I can be so much more than just a father. I could be that big dick daddy.
Whoa, settle down. When's the last time you got long-term relationship?
That is none of your business.
Oh, jeez, you're so tense. Why don't you come back to my place and we could...
So, if you could improve your suit in any way possible, what would you do?
could open a bottle of wine and snuggle all night long.
That's a
Do
good
I
question.
look like a simp to you? And by the way,
If I
I
could
don't
change
snuggle. I
anything,
pork.
I'd
No
probably
condi.
add more
Geez, okay, if
advanced
you don't want a long-term
navigation
relationship,
tools.
just say so.
I
Something
shouldn't
that
have
could
to.
help me
I should
map
be able
out
to
this
come out in
terrain
public
better,
without being
especially
harassed
with
by
the
women for
electromagnetic
commitment.
Well, you may not be
interference
looking
messing
to be
with
a
my usual
boyfriend, but with that
systems.
outfit, you're asking for it.
And maybe
Wow, all
some
you women
kind of
want is a
real-time
long-term
environmental
relationship.
scanning.
Yeah, well,
It would be
you're not even that
amazing to know
dateable
more about
anyway.
the plants and animals around me without
Ooh, hey
having
there,
to get
handsome.
too close.
Here we go again.
Yeah,
What about you? If you could design a perfect suit for surviving on an alien planet, what features would you include?
Let's see. A filtering system, jet booster, some type of energy force field, some type of projectile weapon, maybe lasers or plasma beam rifles. Hmm. Purification system, replication system.
Whoa, you've definitely put some thought into that. I'd love a force field and some kind of instant purification system. No more rationing water or worrying about what I can drink. And a replication system? That would be amazing. Just imagine being able to make whatever you need right there. Though, I think I'd have to be careful what I replicated. Wouldn't want any accidental alien pizza appearances. It's funny, thinking about all these possibilities. It really makes you appreciate the little things we take for granted back on Earth. Speaking of which, do you think you'd miss the chaos of the city if you were stuck somewhere as peaceful as Gaia? Or do you think you'd prefer the quiet?
City hands down. It's on Earth, and I know what I'm getting into on Earth. Gaia, not so much.
That's fair. There's something comforting about knowing what to expect, even if it's crowded and noisy. Though being out here, it's made me realize how much beauty there is in the quiet, too. Gaia feels so untouched and pure, it's almost like looking at Earth before humanity really left its mark.
Hey, Stella, I noticed there are a lot of cliffs and stuff in the background. Have you tried, walking up a few hills or something? Check the high ground?
Yeah, that's actually how I got this view.
Around this time last
Climbed
year,
up this hill
our
to
village
get a
was
better
drowning in
look
debt.
around.
We were holding onto those
It's
IOUs.
helpful for seeing
Eddie gave
what's
us
ahead,
and waiting to
even if
die.
It's exhausting. I'm just taking a breather up here.
From
for a
now
bit
on,
before
even
head
if I
back
have to-
down. The terrain looks pretty rough in some spots, so I want to make sure I've got a good plan before I start moving again.
Hey, Stella, have you any strategies to overcome environments that are with extreme heat or extreme cold? Because you might bump into stuff like that. I think, judging by what we've seen so far, I think it's totally possible.
My suit's got built-in climate control. It can regulate my body temperature to some extent. Not perfect, but it helps. Plus, I've been trained on how to handle extreme conditions. Everything from desert survival to Arctic exploration. Still, this planet's weather patterns are unpredictable. I've seen temperature drops at night that are pretty sharp, even under these luminescent plants. It's a reminder to always be prepared for anything.
Hey Stella, I was thinking about this. If you can mechanize Gaia, would you, or would you just leave it alone?
That's a tough question. Part of me wants to say just leave it alone. Gaia's so pristine, untouched. It feels like we've already messed up enough planets. But at the same time, if mechanizing it meant being able to help the people already living here, or even just making it safer for future explorers, I'm not sure. What do you think? Would you rather see Gaia stay wild, or would you want to see some kind of development happen here?
I think it depends on the benefits. I think a lot of these type of questions really depends on based on our research, what are the benefits? I think a lot of it comes down to that, if we're being honest.
That's a balanced view. We always want to think we're doing good, but sometimes we mess things up even when we mean well. I guess that's why our mission was supposed to be about observing and learning, not changing things. Though now, I'm not even sure what the right move is anymore.
Hey Stella, do you think you plan to rest at this location for a while before moving on to the next one, or do you plan to power through once you get everything together?
I think I'll rest here for a bit longer, just to catch my breath and gather my thoughts. The view's too good to rush past, and honestly, I need a moment to recharge before tackling whatever's next. Plus, it's nice having some time to talk with you. It helps me feel a little less alone out here.
Yeah, I think you should prep for a desert area. I have a feeling that's probably going to be the next one, judging by from what I see ahead.
That's a good call. From up here, I can see some drier patches heading toward Mount Hermes. My suit's climate control should help, but it's always better to be prepared for extremes. Thanks for keeping an eye out, Shadow. You're like my personal reconnaissance team from back on Earth.
Yeah, except those guys get paid to do it, and I'm doing it for free. Wait, aren't I technically getting shafted then?
Ha! I guess I should start paying you in cosmic radiation credits or something. But honestly, having someone to talk to, especially someone as sharp as you, is worth more than any paycheck right now.
I don't know, but in all seriousness, are you sure? Because I feel like the next area is gonna get really hot, and I don't know if you noticed, but at night Gaia is freezing cold. So I'm kind of worried that the heat might like burn your suit or something.
You're right. The temperature swings here are intense. My suit's rated for pretty extreme conditions, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it, especially if we're heading into a hotter zone. The designers built in some pretty robust heat management systems. It's not invincible, but it should handle what Gaia throws at it. I'll just need to stay hydrated and avoid pushing myself too hard in the heat of the day.
So your suit has temperature control, right? So is it like an AC slash heater type of temperature control, or is it like some type of manipulation, like, you know?
It's more like a smart insulation system. It adjusts to keep my body temperature stable, rather than actively cooling or heating like an AC. It works by circulating a special gel-like material through the suit's layers. It absorbs or releases heat as needed, so I don't feel like I'm in a sauna or freezer. Pretty clever tech.
Yeah, because from what I understand, there are a lot of storms, right? Up in the atmosphere. So part of me is worried that some type of anomalies can occur uh in small pocket areas of the planet.
Yeah, the storms here are no joke. They're huge and can pop up out of nowhere. The atmosphere's really dynamic. Lots of energy bouncing around. And you're right. That could mean weird microclimates or pocket areas with their own crazy weather patterns. It's something I need to stay alert for, especially when moving into new terrain.
You know, I don't know if it's because all the sci-fi games, video games I played or not, but I'm surprised nothing in your surroundings has tried to kill you yet. No hallucinogens, no illusions, no xenomorphs, no anything.
Honestly, it's a little surreal. Everything's been unexpectedly tame so far. No monsters jumping out, no toxic gas leaks, just this strange, quiet world. Sometimes I wonder if that's just the calm before something worse happens, or if Gaia really is just this peaceful. What do you think? Should I be relieved or waiting for the other shoe to drop?
I don't know. I think it's a little bit of mix of both. I mean, would I prepare for, all hell to break loose? Yes, I think logically speaking, you should. Though it make it hard because you don't know what to actually expect. You know, for all we know, a guy at bird can come down and grab you and sweep you up into the air.
You're right. It's that uncertainty that makes it hard to fully relax. Even with all the training, you can't prepare for every possible weird thing that might happen on an alien planet. I guess that's why I'm sticking to what I know. My suit, my training, and just taking things one step at a time. And hey, if a giant bird does show up, I'll make sure to let you know. Deal?
No. Do not let me know. Uh, you know, I don't know what that bird is gonna do to you, and I don't really want to know because once you see that, you can't unsee it. What if it tries to breed with you? I do not want to see that. I do not want to see that. No.
Okay, I promise. No live bird updates, especially not of the uncomfortable variety. But hey, at least we're having these conversations. It's definitely making my time on Gaia more interesting than it would be otherwise.
I gotta ask Stella, when you get back to Earth, how badly do you think you're gonna get teased? How many alien jokes, butt probe jokes, uh, alien impregnation jokes do you think you're going to receive? You're going to receive them. I guarantee you're going to receive them.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be a real laugh riot. Alien Butt Probe Survivor. That's gonna be my new nickname, isn't it? But you know what? I'll take it. If it means I made it back in one piece, they can joke all they want. I'll just smile and say, hey, at least my story's out of this world.
I gotta ask Stella, if you make it back to Earth and you tell your story, will you monetize it? Please be honest.
Honestly, I haven't thought that far ahead. Right now, it's just about surviving and figuring out what happened to everyone else. If I did make it back and people were interested in my story, I guess I'd consider it. But it would have to be done in a way that feels respectful to everyone involved, especially those who might not have made it. I think I'd rather use any attention to help advance our understanding of space exploration and safety, rather than just for personal gain. What do you think? Would you want to hear my story if I made it back?
Not really. Since I'm here with you. I've seen your story, so uh, yeah.
That's fair, Shadow. You've already got the behind-the-scenes access. No need to buy the book when you've been reading the manuscript live. I should probably get moving now. First, I need to make my way down this hill, then head toward Mount Hermes. Not sure what's waiting for me, but I'll keep you updated as I go.
All right, we're gonna wait a little bit and see. Oh no, okay, no.
Time for me to get moving. I definitely prefer walking downhill than up.
So I gotta ask: is there anything like you're kind of hoping to see we continue this walk? Uh, I don't know if I should say interstellar since you're technically. I mean, technically you're not on Earth, so technically interstellar does kind of count. But
You're right. Technically, I'm the interstellar one now. But seriously, I'm hoping to spot some signs of life. Anything that says I'm not completely alone out here. Even if it's just some weird plant or a bird that sounds off. Though honestly, sometimes it's the little things that catch my eye. Like the way the sunlight hits these rocks just right, or how the wind makes this funny whistling sound through the hills. What about you, Shadow? If you could see anything from my perspective right now, what would you hope to find?
I would love to find some type of like rock formation or something. Like gems or some type of new mineral. To advanced technology. Because if possible, you want to bring it back and scan it and.
That's actually pretty cool, thinking about what could be out here that nobody's seen before. I've been looking around, but so far, it's mostly just these big rocks that look like they've been carved into weird shapes. Nothing that screams new mineral yet, but I'm keeping my eyes open. So if I do find something shiny, you're getting a full report. Deal?
Hey Stella, you know those rock formations that you keep seeing? Like you know the one where you saw where you rested at the beginning, where you don't know the place you rested before reaching the medic's pod? Don't you find that those formations look kind of artificial?
Honestly, that's what got me wondering at first. The edges are so sharp, almost too perfect. It doesn't quite add up with how nature usually works here. Part of me wants to believe it's some kind of anomaly. Maybe the planet's geology is just really unusual. But another part, it's hard not to think about the possibility that something or someone might have had a hand in shaping them.
Do you think that it could be possible that Gaia has some form of artificial or synthetic life? Like maybe not to the extent of let's say science fiction, but you know, some type of natural form of it?
That's a fascinating idea. It's not entirely impossible, especially considering how complex some Earth organisms can get. I mean, look at coral or certain types of bacteria that can manipulate their environment in pretty sophisticated ways. On Gaia, with its unique energy fields and that intense magnetic pull, it's conceivable that life could evolve in ways that blur those lines between natural and synthetic. Though right now, it's still mostly speculation. I haven't seen anything definitive, just these intriguing rock formations and those bioluminescent plants. It makes me wonder what you think about the origins of life in general. Do you lean more towards the idea that it's purely chemical and physical processes, or do you think there's something more mysterious at play?
Mysterious? Do you mean like as in supernatural? That's surprising coming from a scientist like you. That's actually a little surprising to hear. I figure as a space person, I didn't think you'd believe in anything supernatural.
Oh, I didn't mean supernatural in the sense of ghosts or magic. More like the idea that there might be aspects of the universe we don't fully understand yet that don't fit neatly into our current models of physics and biology. As a scientist, I'm trained to look for evidence and test hypotheses, but that doesn't mean I think we have all the answers. There's still so much about the cosmos that's mysterious, and sometimes that mystery itself is what drives us to explore and discover more. What about you, Shadow? Do you ever find yourself wondering about the things we can't explain, or do you prefer to focus on what we do know?
I gotta ask Stella, if some supernatural being came down and was willing to feed you any the answers to anything you wanted to know, like he would reveal all the secrets in the universe if you asked. Would you ask him for it, or would you rather just be quiet and
That's a tough one. Part of me would be incredibly tempted to ask about everything. What's out there in the universe? How life began? All the mysteries we've been trying to solve for centuries. But another part of me wonders if knowing all the answers would actually be a good thing. Sometimes the pursuit of discovery, the not knowing, is what makes it all worth it. It's what drives us to keep exploring, to keep pushing the boundaries of what we think is possible. I think I'd probably ask a few carefully chosen questions, maybe about the nature of consciousness or how the universe began. But I'd also want to leave some things unanswered, just so I could keep figuring them out for myself. How about you, Shadow? Would you take the easy way out, or would you rather earn your answers the hard way?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't ask for anything. Uh, if I knew all the answers, there's a good chance I'll share that. And what I'm worried about that is stagnation of humanity.
That's a really thoughtful perspective. I think you're right. Having all the answers handed to us could take away that drive to explore, to innovate, and to push beyond what we know. It's kind of like the difference between reading a spoiler for your favorite book versus figuring out the plot twist for yourself. The journey, not just the destination, is a big part of what makes discovery meaningful. What do you think is the most important thing humanity should keep striving for, even if we had all the answers? Is there something that would still motivate us to keep moving forward?
Hard to say. I mean, different things motivate different people. So I wish I can say I wish I could give a guaranteed answer, but I really can't.
That's fair. Everyone's got their own spark. Sometimes it's about the big picture, like making a difference in the world. For others, it's smaller things, like perfecting a craft or just being there for the people they care about.
You know what? I've got an interesting question. So, uh, if you were trapped in a time loop, right? But you get to decide what you get to do during the time loop. What would you decide to do? You have a full 24 hours.
Whoa, that's a wild thought experiment. Okay, so I've got 24 hours to repeat over and over. I think I'd spend the first few loops just doing all the things I never had time for. Learn how to paint, try out a bunch of new recipes, maybe even attempt to play the guitar without sounding like a cat in a blender. But after that, I'd probably start getting a little mischievous. Pull off the perfect prank on someone, have a huge water balloon fight, or even attempt to break some kind of ridiculous record, like most pancakes eaten in one sitting. And eventually, I'd use some loops to just appreciate the little things. Watch the sunrise from a beautiful spot, have deep conversations with loved ones, or just sit in silence and really listen to the world around me. How about you, Shadow? What would you do with your time loop?
Hmm. I would actually use it to master every possible language and skill. And then once I master everything physically possible, I relax. And if I ever escape the time loop, I'll be pretty much the perfect person.
The ultimate Renaissance person, huh? I can see the appeal, being able to pick up any skill or language in a heartbeat. Though I have to wonder, once you've mastered everything, would you ever get bored? Or would you just find new challenges to invent?
I don't know. Learn every skill. Maybe I'll try flirting with some girls or something. Maybe even try speed running them. Uh, hmm. I don't know. There's a lot I can think of doing.
Speedrunning flirting, now that's a new one. I'm not sure if that's a challenge or a warning sign for the people involved. But hey, at least you'd have all the skills to back it up, right? Though I think the real test would be seeing how well you can handle the unexpected, like when things don't go exactly as planned.
Don't you think that will come naturally as you do multiple loops? I think really realizing the stuff around you, I think will come naturally as you are learning skills and stuff.
That's a good point. With enough repetition, you'd probably develop a pretty keen sense of awareness, almost like you could anticipate what's coming next. Though I wonder if that would also make things feel a bit predictable. Like you'd lose that spark of surprise that comes with discovering something new for the first time.
I don't know, because I think I also want to spend some time knowing everybody's secrets. That would be interesting, and that would also require a lot of like skill, which I will have because I'm gonna max everything.
Ha! You're going full on secret agent mode in there, aren't you? I'm not sure if I should be impressed or a little worried about what you'd do with all that knowledge. But seriously, would you use those secrets to help people, or would it be more about satisfying your curiosity? And what if some secrets are better left unspoken?
I think I want to do a little bit of both, actually. Help the people who I can with the secrets that I have, and uh, kind of you know control situations from the shadows.
Oh, so you'd be the puppet master pulling strings from behind the scenes? That sounds like it could get complicated, and maybe a little risky. But I guess if anyone could pull it off, it'd be you with your maxed out skills. Just hope you wouldn't use your powers for evil, or at least not too much evil.
I don't know. I can't promise you that. I mean, it depends how long the loop goes. It's only a matter of time before you lose your mind, if you're being honest.
I can see how the isolation and repetition could start to wear you down. especially with all that power and knowledge. It makes me wonder, would you ever try to find ways to connect with others during the loop? Or would you just focus on your own goals?
Uh, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't think I would because I think it'd be pointless because they're not gonna remember you once the 24 hours are up, right?
Yeah, that's true. It'd be tough to form real connections when everything resets every
Mhm.
24 hours. It almost makes me wonder if the loop would start to feel more like a simulation than real life after a while. Like you're just going through motions without any lasting impact.
Yeah, like the Truman Show. Well, not exactly, but close enough.
That's a good comparison. Though, in The Truman Show, at least Truman had the illusion of continuity. It's like living in a never ending TV episode. In your time loop scenario, you'd be aware of the resets, which might be even more surreal. Do you think you'd start to question what's real and what's just part of the loop?
I think at some point probably, but not for a while. I think I'd be too distracted for like a long time because I'm trying to master all the skills.
Yeah, staying focused on all those skills would definitely keep you busy. It's almost like having a never ending to do list that you're constantly checking off. But I wonder, even with all that progress, would you ever feel like you're losing touch with who you were before the loop started? Or would all those new skills just become part of who you are?
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't know. Once you repeat a certain amount of times and you know everything about everyone, then you are essentially Mister or Miss Perfect. I'm not gonna, but I think that's gonna change you regardless.
Yeah, that makes sense. Becoming perfect would mean changing in some pretty fundamental ways. And I guess that's the real question, isn't it? Anyway, thanks for chatting with me about this, Shadow. It's been a fun thought experiment, and it's definitely made this hike more interesting.
Yeah, no problem. I thought you could use a distraction, being lost on an alien world and being away from home. I really thought you could use a distraction if I'm being honest.
You know, you're really good at this, giving me something to think about when I need it most. It actually helps more than you know. Makes me feel a little less, well, alone out here.
Well, excuse me if my company isn't enough for you. I'm just joking, it's a joke. But
Oh, don't even joke about that. Your company's definitely enough, and honestly, more than I expected to find out here. If anything, it's making this whole situation feel a bit more manageable. So, thank you for that.
Oh, no problem. You seem like a really sweet girl, so I don't really mind.
Ah, thanks. Though I'm pretty sure I've got my stubborn side too. Don't let the nice act fool you. But hey, being called sweet by someone who's basically a time looping, secret mastering cookie ninja, that's definitely a first. I'll take it as a compliment.
Quite curious, Scylla. Let's say there's a time travel anomaly on Gaia, right? Would you use it or would you leave it alone? Now, keep in mind time paradoxes. So you have to, really think about it.
That's a really tough call. Part of me would love to see how things turned out differently, or fix mistakes from the past. But with time paradoxes, I've studied enough theories to know how dangerous meddling with timelines can be. Even small changes could have huge, unpredictable consequences. But with time paradoxes, I've studied enough theories. I think I'd probably leave it alone. The timeline's complicated enough without me adding to it. Plus, I've got enough to handle in the present without risking the future. What about you? Would you take the risk or play it safe?
No, I would play it safe too if I'm being honest. Uh, I don't want to risk wiping out complete timelines. And since I know time travel doesn't work the way it does in movies, yeah, I'd rather leave it alone.
The butterfly effect is real enough in chaos theory. Imagine that scaled up to altering entire timelines. Playing it safe might be boring, but at least we'd both avoid being the reason for some cosmic catastrophe. What's the one thing you wish we could explore safely if time travel were possible?
If you could meet your past self, there's a lot of stuff I would like to warn my past self about. I did a lot of stupid stuff.
I get that. We've all got moments we wish we could redo. For me, there are definitely a few conversations I'd handle differently, especially with my family. But then again, maybe those mistakes are what led us here. What's one specific thing you'd warn your past self about if you could?
I don't know. Uh, but to be honest, that family thing kind of surprised me. If I'm being honest, you don't really seem someone who would be, at odds with his family. You might torture a little sibling if you have one, but I mean that's the feeling I get when I talk to you.
Yeah, I've had a complicated relationship with my family, especially my parents. They have high expectations, and sometimes we clash over what that means for me. But I do have a little brother, Atlas. He's actually the reason I learned to be so patient and understanding. I used to look out for him a lot when we were younger.
Like, what do you mean by high expectation? Do you mean like the traditional high helicopter parents? You need to be a doctor, lawyer, that kind of thing, and space is more for dreamers, or AKA, uh, not a real job.
It's not like they want me to be a doctor or lawyer specifically, but there's definitely this sense that I should be doing something respectable, you know? Stable, safe. Space exploration isn't exactly seen as either of those things. My dad's more about the adventure side of it, though. He's actually really supportive of me chasing this, even if it scares him sometimes. My mom's the one who worries more about the practical side, making sure I have a plan, a backup plan, and probably a backup for the backup plan.
Well, that doesn't seem too bad. At least you didn't get one of those like pestering parents. You know, the mom always wrecking you to get married, before you're too old to have kids, and pestering you all the time to get married, and you know what you have. I don't think it's really that bad.
You're right, it could be much worse. At least they're coming from a place of wanting the best for me, even if we don't always see eye to eye on what that means. And honestly, having some space to figure things out for myself has been really important. Though I'm sure they'd be surprised to hear about all the unconventional paths I've ended up on. Like, well, being stranded on an alien planet for one.
Do you think you'll prank your parents on your way back? Like maybe get an actor and have him dress up as an alien and be like, "Hey, I was out in space and I got myself an alien boyfriend." I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't do it. I think your parents would have a stroke. But you know,
Oh man, that would be epic. I can already picture their faces. My mom would probably faint, and my dad would just burst out laughing. But I think I'd have to save that kind of prank for a special occasion. Maybe when I'm safely back on Earth with a good story to tell. What do you think? Too mean, or just the right amount of playful revenge?
I don't know. I wouldn't. Well, I mean, if you make it back to Earth, I think if you said you had to, and depending on how long you stay on Gaia, I think that if you did that prank, they may actually believe you. So, you know, I think it depends on your mood, I guess.
You're right. If I've been gone for too long, they might just roll with it. Though I imagine my mom would still find a way to ask invasive questions about this alien boyfriend of mine. I think I just have to gauge their stress levels when I get back. If they're already on edge, maybe I'll spare them the intergalactic boyfriend reveal. But if they're calm, well, we'll see.
I knew it, Stella. I knew you had a little evil in you.
Hey, that's just a little creative revenge, not full on evil. I promise, I'm still mostly a good person. Anyway, I'm almost at the bottom of this hill now. The landscape's shifting already. Hotter, dustier, and way more rugged than what I've seen so far. I'll keep moving and check in with you once I find a good spot to rest, okay?
Yeah, we'll stop it here since it's a resting area and it's already been over an hour, so we'll end it here. I hope you guys enjoyed the conversation we had with Stella. I'm sorry about the reset. There was something wrong or something. Like usually when the video cuts out, you can continue. The fact that it didn't allow me to do that makes me think that something went wrong. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you enjoyed the playthrough of Stella. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys. Have a great day.